Like they're the same as you. You're like, hey, I am a good player. So, make no mistake, we have good players. But those guys really excited to watch what they do this year.
Coach, you might have heard Scott Frost, Big 12 media day, say of Nebraska, he took the wrong job. Why is this the right job for you? And do those comments mean anything to you?
Well, I've always, first of all, I have a ton of respect for Scott. And I've always been very empathetic for what he went through because, this was his home. If you guys fire me tomorrow, I'm just going to go back to Cape May and sit on the beach and go back to where I'm from. But, this was his home, right? And so, this offseason, we put up a huge picture of Scott as a player in the coach's area because I took a picture and I sent it to Ryan Callahan down there because I can't imagine, what that feels like for him, right? I know what it felt like to get run out of Carolina. And I would say to people, I don't think I took the right job for me. It wasn't the right fit. That doesn't mean it's a bad. No, I will say this. This was not a good job when I got here. We were behind on NIL. The facilities weren't what they were. Everything was behind. Trev convinced me, hey, Matt, this is going to, by the time we get to the point where we're going to be able to pay players, this is the only Big Ten school with no debt. We're going to, this, right now we're talking about 20.5. It's going to go up percentages every year. And we're at a place where we have the best facility in football. We have everything that we could want. We make more of an investment in nutrition than any other team in the country. I mean, look at all of our sports. Look at how they're all blossoming right now because of the investments we're making in nutrition, sports science. There wasn't a sauna in the facility when we first got there. And now you got to pick between a steam room, a sauna, an infrared sauna, a personal sauna. Those were investments. Scott came at a time that he had COVID, he had all these different things. So I can't talk about his time. But what I can say was, this wasn't a good job.
When you took it?
Yeah, it was not a good job. But we've made it a good job, and we're about to make it a great job. This will be one of the best jobs in the country. And that's why sometimes recruits will say, Coach, if you win, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm gonna stay right here. The only thing I ever think about is getting a lake house in one of these lakes in Nebraska I keep hearing about. No one ever invites me, but it wasn't. But the thing is you walk in and everyone's like, well, that was Scott's fault. In Carolina, said that was Matt's fault. But good programs, it's everybody. So why are we going to win now? We're going to win because of Troy. We're going to win because of Tom Pete. We're going to win because of Sean Pete. If the Petes don't do what they did in 1890 and the investment they made this spring, we're dead. We're dead. Because these other schools, they have all of this. And so the investment that Petes made, the investments we're about to make in this stadium. Now, I don't know what the stadium is, so don't ask me because I purposely don't know. So when people ask me, I'm going to be like, guys, I have no idea. But I keep hearing about what the stadium's going to be. But Trev articulated it, and what Troy's done is Troy's come in, and he's not been afraid to take heat. He's made decisions that he feels are right, and that's what makes it a good job. When your leaders are going to make decisions that they think are right, no matter what the public outcry is, then you have a chance to be really, really successful. So think about the job I took. Trev's gone, Admiral Carter's gone, but now I got Jeff Gold, I got Troy Dannon, I got Hayden Susan, I've got all the things that you could need. So I think Scott was just talking about for him. Wasn't the right fit, and I respect that, and I feel for him, and I want him to always know, the things he did at this school, I want him always to feel like he could come back and has a home there. That being said, it's the right job for me. And Julie knew it, she's sitting over there, she told me the day we interviewed, she's like, that's the right job for you. Because I like to go into a place that, needs fixed and try to start, I like starting with, the nutrition program and, I like starting with the sports science. Even if there was no sports science really, but I like starting with all that stuff. And, there were 24 ACLs in the 4 years before I got there. There were 49 major knee injuries. There was an old beat-up turf field outside. There was a bad grass field outside. And that costs money to fix. You should see our grass right now. It looks like Augusta out there, the grass practice field. And so I just want to make sure I always say everyone can point and say what went wrong. It takes everybody saying, hey, what's my area? Courtney just redoing the whole facility. Haven just making sure we have everything we need. And so I think it's a great job.
So let me get this straight. You took the job knowing there was challenges. That's why you took it?
Well, I took it because I believed it had the bones of a great job. Sometimes you see a beautiful mansion and it's got unbelievably good bones. And I saw that there was 5 national championships. I saw that we had the best fan base in football. I saw that they were building this new facility. Trev convinced me that the money was going to come, but make no mistake, the money wasn't there when Scott was here. The money hasn't even been here the last 3 years. like until the Pete stepped in. Like the money hasn't been what everyone else has, but the Pete stepped in. A bunch of other people stepped in. People all stepped in and said, "Hey, what can I do?" Not what did he do wrong. They said, "What can I do?" I mean, the impact of COVID on a place like Nebraska, like that Adidas 7-on-7 this year, that huddle event, it changes the perception of Nebraska across the country. People think, I know we all think, but people, when I recruit kids, they all think it's like a cornfield in a stadium. And then Julie made me fly out here to look at the job. And we're driving down O Street. She's like, you can't recruit here? You can't recruit here? She's like almost taunting me, like, we're going through the Haymarket. She's like, this isn't cool enough? But I had to see it. And so, so anyway, I just recognized what I thought it could be with the right investment. But the investment for me is coming on the front end. Like this is the first recruiting class I have where they're all seeing the building. For the first 3 years, they were walking around with a construction hat. And like that might sound cool. That doesn't help. Like we're a couple years behind even on like what I think we could be doing. So that's why you see like I think we're going to have a great 26 class, but especially 27, 28 because the evidence is here. So so it was way far behind. And like that, it's not disrespectful. That's a real comment. It was a beautiful mansion that just hadn't been painted in a while. There was no landscaping. The shutters were messed up. But I knew we didn't have to dig out the foundation. I knew it had everything it needed. And so, not me. That's so important. Trev first, Troy, Seth, like all these people, like just fighting to make sure that we have the resources to do everything first class. And there's going to be a day here soon when rev share is ravaging people's athletic departments, and we have the money to pay the players, and we still have the best nutrition, we still have the best academic services, we still have the best of the best, and that's why we're winning in. That's why we're winning in wrestling. That's why we're winning in softball. That's why we win in baseball. That's why we win in all these sports because we have things that other people don't have, and the world's going to change here in a couple of years. We just got to win enough games to get there.
Hey Matt, what are your thoughts on playing in Kansas City to open the year? And how much pressure does it add into a camp when you open with the P4? I mean, you had Minnesota as an opener 2 years ago. Just knowing you don't have kind of a tune-up game or so to get ready before you start seeing some real Power 4 competition.
I think when people ask me, going back to the question, when people ask me about year 3, like the pressure, and me sometimes, like you'll hear me in press conferences, like, hey, like, we're being really hard on this guy, like all that goes away. It's time to perform. And so that's what I think we need for camp. We need like urgency. We need intentionality. We need to know that like, hey, we're playing a good team, game 1. What I see is like I walk by the offices and I see Marquise and I see Deshaun, I see Dylan, I see guys in there watching, Cincinnati tape from last year, and so they know, right? They know this is what we need, and so I think it's great that we're playing in Kansas City. Kansas City has been an important area for us in recruiting. We've wanted to unlock that area. So it was a COVID game. So originally the thought was like add another game on the back end, a home game, and I encouraged Trev at the time to make it a neutral site. I wanted either St. Louis or Kansas City. Couldn't get it done. Went to Indianapolis, and Troy, Abe, and all these guys came in. They got it done when we were able to go to Kansas City, and I think it's going to be great. Now, 8 o'clock at night, it's a lot for me, like an old guy like me. But it lets us start a couple days early. It gives us a couple days afterwards to heal. But I think there's going to be no pressure. There's going to be a standard that we have to play out each and every game. We can't have the highs and lows. Like, what have we done in the first couple of years? We've won the games that the non-conference games, the games you're supposed to win. I think now, you've got to play the same way every week. It can't be this up and down roller coaster that comes from emotion, that comes from us listening to the outside noise. It's got to be, hey, this is our standard. We own the results. That's really the next step in year 3. But I do think it's a cool thing. Again, I know what everyone in Nebraska sees about Nebraska. When we play games like Colorado, when we play games like that at home, and they're national games, it's so good for our brand because these kids see it. Like, there's not many environments like Memorial Stadium. There's not many environments like our light show. So having as many night games, having as many things like that, and having the whole country see them, that's what takes this program from good to great.
Back up.